Observe the precision as the active aero deploys. The mechanism adjusts for optimal downforce.
The desert highway stretches endlessly ahead. Most drivers see only asphalt and horizon. But for those who understand what true velocity means, there's a machine that rewrites every rule. A hypercar so aerodynamically perfect, it doesn't just move through air, it becomes one with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of the McLaren Speedtail, where engineering obsession meets automotive art, and where speed isn't just measured in numbers, but in the feeling of absolute freedom at over 200 miles per hour. This isn't just another supercar launch. This is McLaren's love letter to velocity itself. The Speedtail represents something deeper than horsepower and carbon fiber. It represents a question that's haunted automotive engineers since the dawn of motorsport. How fast can we actually go? And more importantly, how elegantly can we get there? Today, we're diving deep into every detail of this three-seat marvel that's changing what Americans expect from the hypercar experience. From the moment you first see the Speedtail, you realize you're looking at something that doesn't belong to our current timeline. The silhouette alone tells a story. McLaren's designers didn't start with sketches of aggressive angles and angry headlights. They started with wind tunnel data and aerospace principles. The result is a shape so fluid, so purposeful, that it looks like it was carved by the wind itself. Measuring over 17 feet in length, the Speedtail is actually longer than most luxury sedans you'll see cruising through Beverly Hills or Manhattan. But somehow, it doesn't feel large, it feels focused. The front end is almost alien in its minimalism. No massive grille screaming for attention, no oversized air intakes breaking up the surface. Instead, you get this continuous flowing form that seems to pull air toward it, channeling everything with surgical precision. The headlights are recessed into the bodywork, almost shy, letting the overall shape take center stage. And that shape, that incredible teardrop profile, it's not just beautiful, it's functional in ways that most cars can only dream about. Every curve, every surface transition has been calculated to reduce drag and increase stability at speeds where most vehicles would simply fall apart. McLaren calls this design language velocity by design, and once you understand it, you can't unsee it. The way the roofline flows backward in one unbroken arc, the way the rear wheels are partially enclosed by elegant aero covers, the way the entire car seems to narrow and focus as your eye travels rearward. This isn't styling for styling's sake, this is engineering made visible. And for American buyers who've grown accustomed to the aggressive, sharp-edged designs of other hypercars, the Speedtail offers something refreshingly different. It's confident enough to be smooth. Let's talk about those aero covers over the rear wheels for a moment, because they're more significant than they might appear. In a country where we love our wide-stance performance cars, where bigger wheels and aggressive fitment often equal status, McLaren made a different choice. They prioritized aerodynamic efficiency over visual aggression. And the result is a car that looks fast standing still, but looks absolutely otherworldly in motion. Owners have reported that seeing the Speedtail at speed, whether passing you on a highway or streaming away into the distance, creates a visual experience unlike anything else on American roads. It doesn't look like it's fighting the air, it looks like it's dancing with it. The exterior color options deserve their own moment of appreciation. McLaren's Special Operations Division, known as MSO, offers customization that goes far beyond choosing from a color chart. We're talking about bespoke paint formulations, hand-applied finishes that take hundreds of hours to perfect, and color combinations that exist nowhere else in the automotive world. Some Speedtail owners in the United States have commissioned paint schemes inspired by classic racing liveries. Others have gone for ultra-modern looks with color-shifting pearls and metallics that change dramatically depending on light and viewing angle. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe for more luxury car stories. Now, let's step inside, and this is where the Speedtail becomes truly special. The cabin layout immediately signals that this car was designed with a different philosophy. The driver sits in the center, flanked by two passenger seats set slightly rearward. It's the same seating arrangement that made the McLaren F1 legendary in the 1990s, and it's just as dramatic today. For American drivers used to left-hand drive conventionality, climbing into that center seat creates an immediate shift in perspective. You're not driving from the side of the car, you're piloting from its very heart. The materials surrounding you represent craftsmanship at its absolute peak.
Incredible, isn't it?
We're talking about leather sourced from the finest European tanneries, then hand-stitched by artisans who've spent decades perfecting their technique. Carbon fiber elements that aren't just strong and light, but finished to a level of gloss and depth that looks almost liquid. Aluminum components machined to tolerances measured in microns. And everywhere, this attention to detail that separates true luxury from mere expense. The central driving position means the dashboard wraps around you in a way that's completely unique. All your crucial information is directly in your line of sight. The controls fall naturally to hand. And those two passenger seats, they're not afterthoughts. They're beautifully sculpted positions where your closest friends or family can experience velocity from a perspective that almost no other car can offer. Imagine taking your teenage son or daughter for their first supercar experience, letting them sit beside you as you explore what this machine can really do. That's a memory that transcends ownership, that becomes family legend. The technology integration is where McLaren's Formula One heritage becomes obvious. The steering wheel is a masterpiece of functional design, not overwrought with dozens of buttons and switches, but focused on what actually matters during spirited driving. The digital displays provide information with clarity and speed. Response times are measured in milliseconds. Everything about the interface is designed to enhance the driving experience rather than distract from it. In an era where many luxury cars bury drivers in complicated menu systems and touchscreen overload, the Speedtail feels refreshingly direct. Climate control, infotainment, navigation, all of it works seamlessly, but none of it intrudes on the primary mission. Because make no mistake, this is a driver's car first. The passengers are invited guests to an experience centered entirely on the act of driving. For wealthy Americans who've owned multiple exotic cars, who've experienced the latest from Italy and Germany, the Speedtail offers something increasingly rare: purity of purpose. Now let's address what everyone really wants to know. What's it like to actually drive? The powertrain combines a twin-turbocharged V8 engine with a hybrid electric system, creating a combined output that pushes well beyond 1,000 horsepower. But raw power numbers, as impressive as they are, don't tell the full story. What matters is how that power is delivered, and in the Speedtail, it arrives with a smoothness and linearity that feels almost surreal. Press the accelerator from a standstill, and the initial response comes from the electric motors. Instant torque, silent thrust, a feeling of being pushed by an invisible hand. Then, as speeds build, the combustion engine awakens with a sound that's more sophisticated than aggressive. It's not the raw scream of an Italian naturally aspirated engine. It's more controlled, more purposeful. The soundtrack of a machine that knows exactly what it was built to do. And what it was built to do is reach speeds that remain illegal on every public road in America. The Speedtail's top speed capability exceeds 250 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest production cars ever created. Of course, experiencing that velocity requires access to private tracks or special events. But knowing it's possible, understanding that you're sitting in a machine capable of that level of performance, it changes how you think about every drive. Even at legal highway speeds, there's this sense of restrained potential, like you're only scratching the surface of what's possible.
The industry estimates suggest pricing for the Speedtail likely positions it in a range starting around $3 million in the US market, but that number becomes almost meaningless when you consider the exclusivity involved. McLaren limited production to just over 100 units worldwide, and every single build slot was claimed before the general public ever saw the finished car. This isn't a vehicle you simply decide to buy. This is a machine you have to be invited to own. For American collectors, this exclusivity holds particular appeal. In a market where six-figure supercars have become almost common, where you can see Lamborghinis and Ferraris at any major city cars and coffee event, the Speedtail offers true rarity. You could drive across the entire United States and never encounter another one. That level of uniqueness resonates deeply with collectors who value not just performance and luxury, but also the story their car tells. Comparisons to other hypercars become inevitable. The Bugatti Chiron offers more raw power and an even higher top speed. The Koenigsegg Jesko promises extreme performance through different engineering approaches. The Pagani Huayra delivers Italian artistry and exclusivity. But the Speedtail carves its own path. It's not trying to be the most powerful or the most expensive or the most flamboyant. It's trying to be the most focused, the most aerodynamically perfect, the most true to McLaren's racing heritage. Think of it this way. If you asked a Formula One team to design the ultimate road-going expression of their philosophy, this is what you'd get. Not a track weapon with license plates, not a luxury GT pretending to be sporty, but a genuine synthesis of racing knowledge and road car refinement. Ownership experience in America comes with its own unique considerations. Service and maintenance require specialized knowledge that only McLaren-certified technicians possess. Major metropolitan areas have official dealers, but if you're based in less populated regions, you're looking at potentially shipping the car for service or having technicians travel to you. Insurance costs reflect both the vehicle's value and its performance capability. Expected price ranges for comprehensive coverage can easily reach 5 figures annually. But for the individuals who join the Speedtail ownership community, these practical considerations fade into the background. What matters is the experience, the feeling of sliding into that center seat, the sensation of the aerodynamic bodywork cutting through air with almost zero turbulence at triple-digit speeds, the knowledge that you own one of the most technologically advanced and exclusive automobiles ever created. And here's what makes the Speedtail truly special in the modern hypercar landscape. McLaren built this car during an era of transition. Internal combustion engines face increasing regulatory pressure. Electric powertrains promise incredible performance, but different character. The Speedtail represents perhaps the peak of what's possible when you combine both technologies with absolute aerodynamic obsession. Future hypercars may be faster, they may be more powerful, but they'll exist in a different regulatory environment with different constraints. The Speedtail captured a specific moment in automotive evolution, and that moment is already becoming history.
For American enthusiasts, there's something deeply appealing about a British hypercar that prioritizes efficiency and elegance over brute force. It's a different philosophy than what we typically celebrate. We love our big displacement muscle cars and our thundering V12 supercars, but the Speedtail asks us to appreciate something more refined, to understand that true speed isn't about overpowering physics, but about working in harmony with natural forces. The ownership community that's formed around these cars reflects that philosophy. These aren't individuals who need to prove anything. They're connoisseurs who understand what makes the Speedtail significant beyond its specifications. They appreciate the engineering story. They value the design integrity. They recognize that McLaren created something genuinely special here, something that will be remembered and valued decades from now. As we look toward the future, the Speedtail stands as a testament to what happens when engineers are given the freedom to pursue perfection without compromise. No artificial limits, no committee decisions diluting the vision, just pure focus on creating the most aerodynamically efficient, fastest McLaren road car ever built, and they succeeded spectacularly. So here's what it comes down to. The McLaren Speedtail isn't for everyone. It was never meant to be. It's for the individual who sees cars as more than transportation or status symbols. It's for the collector who values engineering innovation and design purity. It's for the enthusiast who understands that sometimes the most impressive performance comes wrapped in elegant simplicity rather than aggressive styling. If you found yourself captivated by this exploration, if you felt even a fraction of the passion that went into creating this machine, drop a comment below. What aspect of the Speedtail resonates most with you? Is it that center driving position, the aerodynamic perfection, or maybe it's just the idea of a car so focused, so purposeful, that everything else becomes secondary? And here's the bigger question. In a world moving rapidly toward electrification, will we ever see another hypercar quite like this? Share your thoughts. Let's continue this conversation. This video is a concept-based visual exploration. Specifications and pricing discussed are estimates and subject to change.